Okay, hey guys, welcome to a Zoom call here, TrinFX. Right, so today what we're gonna do tonight is just go for the last few trades I was taking for the week and just see if we get some insight on everything. What was I looking at? What was my thought process into entering these trades, right? So start off first trade, and this was sent in the WhatsApp group, right, on Monday. These were the first two trades that I entered, which was GBP, AUD, and I believe another one here is GBP, GBY, Euro GBP, sorry, and another one as well. This, yeah, AUD, GBY. Alright, so these are the two trades that entered GBP, AUD, and AUD, GBY. So if we could go here, right, GBP, AUD. So what's my thought process with this? Okay, so if we go on the daily time frame, let's start with daily. Let's see what we can see. Overall, we do see that we had a higher, the trend was moving higher, right? We had an uptrend, a strong uptrend into the upside. And this is evident. We can see those higher highs being formed and that price structure really being sticking, continuing, right? We did pass some levels, sort of like right here, which would have been an area to look at for price to pass the continuity upside. As we saw, we had a bullish push out of that on the daily chart, right? So from there, we could have seen some expectancy to head up. Looking more recently, what we could see here is another daily push, bullish push right up here. And price came back into the zone, sort of retested multiple darks, right? So all of these daily candles, price retested this area right here. So this was an area that I marked up of importance because we did have those daily wicks from rejected from that area. All right. Going to the 4 hour now. At this point, two things could have happened, right? Once price was rejecting this area right here, where we note that we will see some form of support, right? Two things could have happened. We could either had price breaking lower to the downside, or we could have had a breakout for price to continue moving to the upside, right? And as you can see, that was what I was anticipating from the chart that I did send uh on this one. Um, yeah, sent a chart earlier on the GP. This is card. Let's see, right? Euro GBP. This was one that's entering on ADJPY. And this is it here. Right, GBP80. Right. Right. So we did have that low down channel happening. Go to one over here. Right. We saw that price made this high right above here, this resistance zone, started to kind of head down. So at that point, I did take this trend line connecting those highs where price was wicked to the upside with. And at that point, either price either rejects from the support area
You
or
see me
maybe we
here?
might see push lower. You guys seeing me? How about now? See me now?
Yes, I seen it now.
Okay. All right. So again, for those that now come,
Hello.
the first chart that we're doing is GPAD. All right, this was what the first trades I sent for the week. We're just recapping on the week trades. All right. So just to reiterate everything that I just said. On the daily, we had price heading to the upside, right? We did have some breakouts from resistance areas strongly on the daily chart. Right from this zone here, we had a break above. And if we look closer right here, we can see that this day, right, close clearly to the bullish side of things. So at that point, we could summarize already that, okay, maybe bulls, bullish runs is what we're going to see now. Maybe we might see some sort of a pullback, but as far as market structure is concerned, we do have a clear, strong bullishness, right? At that point, that being said, we're looking for that retest areas to actually enter to continue with the move, right? So we had some pullbacks here. Noted that this was a support zone because we had multiple times price came into that area and wicked away from it. So this support zone was being maintained. At that moment, we had a bullish push to the upside here. Price formed some sort of resistance. And like I said in previous videos as well, you want to mark these areas because now if price does pass this area, you're going to now see more likely a continuation with that bullish move, right? Which is this right here with price push past, retested, and continue moving higher up. Okay, so at the point of time when the trade itself was sent, all right, we were looking at this sort of channel, this trend area where price came back into the support zone. And it was either one of two things, either it's retest the support area and pushes away, right? Breaking that trend line, that little downtrend that we were seeing temporarily, or maybe the support itself is broken and we do see a continuation pushing lower. But again, we did see that bullish push and market open. We came so close into this area right here, right? And at that point is where I said, okay, looking to enter this trade, and you see this playing for 3.6%. I think we came out at, I'm not sure if we came out fully at the 3.6, but I do believe we came out at 3%, right? At that point is when I said it reached 3%. I see price continue moving higher, right? Pushing past that zone again of resistance. We tested it. We had some low pullbacks on that, which was due to some fundamentals. Again, I believe this was when the whole Afghan thing was happening, and we had that pullback right there. It was only 17th, yeah, around that time. So, right. But yeah, we had a continuation to the upside. We were clearly bullish on this. And at this point here, when I was looking to do another trade, I think it was somewhere here. Did do another trade, tried to do another trade for the Fujian setup, but you see it got picked out. Entered another one somewhere around right here as price broke to the lower side. And that's the first trade, that was Euro 80, I mean GBP 80, sorry. The second one was 80 JPY. I'm sorry, I didn't have time to chart all of this up into my trading journal. So just going off of what was sent in the WhatsApp group and Telegram group because I was moving in between the two. All right. Uh, let's just see. All right. 80 JPY. This was also a continuation move to the downside. All right. So as price was sort of trading in this range, this is a very large range, by the way, right? We did have a rejection from the top of that range, right? This point of resistance as price broke the lower side, if you look even further. So we do see that we are clearly heading downwards, right? The overall trend is down. And being traders that trade momentum and price action, we want to trade with the trend rather than against it, right? Because we the market of making money, right? So at that point, we were looking for possible entry points, right? So as price continued breaking lower, one thing that I did note, as I was tracking this up and like the Senate and all of that, was this right here on the 4 hour. We had a break below this area where price kind of consolidated for, right? Usually when you see something like this, where it has some hesitance in the movement of price, once it does have a break of that area, whether it's to the upside or the downside, more than likely you would see a continuation with whatever direction that is. Such as the case is for this, as price push lower, right? Closing strongly to the downside with this candle. It hasn't left any wicks or anything like that. And on the following candle is also bearish. At that point, we could have summarized that, okay, more than likely, after we did pass this area of this sort of hesitation where price kind of consolidated for, more than likely, we are going to see price continuing to the downside, targeting that area of support, which is right here, where I choose as a profit target, right? And we could put our stop loss right above this area because, okay, as price push past that area, we're not really going to look for it to revisit, right? If anytime price pushes back up into that zone, then maybe we should just stay out of the trade, look for more clearer price action to indicate the movement, right? But again, we note that price pushed away, closed bearish strongly to the downside, right? After we had those multiple rejections right in that area, we're going to 1 hour, you'll see it a little bit clearer, right? Price is just kind of zigzagging in this zone. It broke down, right? And from that, we got that continuation. This was for another 3%. Right. So at the starting of the week, we were able to make 6% in total already, which is great, by the way, right? Usually when you trade in a weekly target of probably 2.5% or even 5% is something most traders are looking to actually make because it's all you need to actually keep being profitable. All right. Um, yeah, anybody have any questions with that thus far? Everybody understand, everybody good. All right, now let's see everybody good. Um, let's just continue here, right? The trades were, let's see, this was a possible trade here on CAD JPY. I didn't enter CAD JPY, I remember that. All right, and CAD JPY, like I
You hear me?
said, I believe for CAD JPY. All right, for CAD JPY, there
I
was
see mute now, so I
I was
don't know
looking for.
if I unmute because anyway, whatever.
I was looking for two things on CAD JPY. Right. Firstly, I was looking to see some sort of maintenance of this support area, if you could call it a support. Reason why I chose this as a support area as well was because as we had that bullish push to the upside, right, price kind of danced around in that area before continuing to push upwards. All right. So for the candles to actually form some sort of area at that point means that if price does revisit that area, it could be possibly maintained, right? Depending on well, depending on a few things, right? Economic state and all of that. Those are the things that I need to note as well, right? One of the reasons also why I didn't choose this to enter really was because overall we did have some risk aversions, meaning that investors were fleeing from the currencies such as the AD and the NZD, the high risk currencies to hold, right? Fleeing to the Japanese yen. So overall in the market, the Japanese yen did gain some more momentum, right? So a lot of these JPY pairs would have started pushing in favor of the Japanese yen itself, right? As it became more value, right? And that is something that we saw happen. I believe I'm not quite sure if I sent this. It was so much trades, but I think I sent this either in the WhatsApp or maybe in the Telegram. I do believe I did send this. Yeah, I remember I sent this and then price started coming up away from the actual area and I said I was removing my stop loss in order to get price to come back onto that area, right? But yeah, that's one of the reasons why I didn't bother to enter this because more than likely we would have seen a push to the lower side, just given everything that was happening with COVID, new lockdowns in Australia, the one COVID case I did have of the new Delta variant in Auckland in New Zealand, right, which really impacted the overall market sentiment for the NCT as well. So we will see as we continue, a lot of the NCT pairs itself started to kind of zigzag in different areas, had different sentiments, right? Such as this right here. And
True,
just
in real
going
life, huh?
just going a little different with the AD&CD, right? So we had two trades on this. One was to the downside when price was let's just see if we can find that real quick. So much. I need to start annotating these things better. AD&CD. Right? At that point when price spiked up. Alright, we just note those few things. Remove this. Right, so it's around that area when price spiked up to upside. 16 candle. AD&CD, is that a double top? A double top? Let's see. Oh, you mean where these two areas right here, these two areas here? I guess you could consider it a double top. Yeah, you could consider it a double top. I mean, it had multiple rejections from there, price revisited, and then came down strongly to the downside. I wouldn't personally, I wouldn't call it a double top. Reason being because this is just pure, this whole thing right here is fundamentals. This whole thing is just fundamentals, right? When you're talking double tops, I would like to say does just occur more naturally on the technical aspect of everything, right? It doesn't really have any fundamental driving towards any double top formation or double bottoms. Um, so I wouldn't want to put what this is in the same category as being a double top or double bottom or anything technical, right? Because I think that'll be kind of I'll be doing you an injustice by actually saying that I agree with that this is, right? Because this whole thing is just a fundamental move, right? Um, so let me dive into this actually. This happened the 16th of August, right? Again to the fundamentals. Right, so this week, 16th, right, we had the RBA meeting, right, RBA meeting minutes. So this in summary is the minutes of the Reserve Bank of Australia. The meeting is published 2 weeks after interest rate decisions. It gives full account of policy decision, including differences of view. They also record the votes of individual members of the committee, right? Usually when they do make policy decision, they have it's a team of people, a committee of people, right? And some people will be in agreement, some people wouldn't. And even though it is a sort of the majority says type of situations, there are people who have more influence in terms of, okay, if this person says that they aren't looking to hike interest rates or they feel that something else is going to happen compared to the other seven, people are paying attention to what that one person says just because they have a little bit more, clout, right? Um, so with that being said, minutes did come out. I did think it was a little bit positive, right? So we had that push to the upside as well. We did have the one COVID case again, right? We did have the one COVID case again in Auckland for New Zealand. So we did have some bearishness on the NCD overall. So for the birds barking, my neighbor, I'm for control over that. And that's why we saw this push exaggerated to the upside, right? This wasn't just merely the minutes or anything like that. It was really because of that one COVID case that just came across randomly on the New Zealand side, right? It really weakened the dollar and the expectancy that we had, especially since overall New Zealand has been very fortunate enough to controlling the amount of COVID cases that they did have, and they were one of the first countries to actually start tapering and hiking interest rates. Looking forward to a better overall economic state. So seeing that they did have one COVID case just build up the psychological sentiment that okay, maybe this is just the starting of a whole new wave of COVID cases coming to New Zealand, and maybe they just gonna have more restrictions, maybe unemployment's gonna start rising. All of that is a psychological thing and fundamental that did start driving the overall state of the NCD. And like people, investors now taking less risk on holding NCD pairs, NCD currency, and fleeing to like the Japanese yen and stuff like that, right? In times of economic stress as well, just to note, investors do flee to the Japanese yen because it is considered a safer currency to actually hold and invest in. Same thing goes for gold. When the US is doing kind of negatively, a lot of investors flee to gold. When it is doing good, then you'll see a lot more buying in the USD side of things. But that has to do with bond yields and a lot of different fundamental stuff that I don't want to overstress all of it. All right. But again, just to go back on topic, wouldn't consider this a double top, not really, right? Just because overall all this shit is fundamentals. But we were able to profit off it. I believe at this point we did get like 1.5% at that point. I did remember saying that actually close profit or just move your stop loss to break even to match yours, right? Because then we right after we had that spike to the upside. So it was profitable. It was a profitable trade, but again, you can see how quickly things could change in the market, right? How sentiment could just flip just like that. And that's one of the things that you have to get used to sometimes, especially when you're dealing, because you're dealing with economies and not something like stocks. Stocks are more controlled, right? And again, we do have COVID going on. So these past 2 years has been one of the most eventful in terms of trading forex, right? But overall, we still were able to actually do something about it. Another trade, AUD cat. Damn, going over these things, at the point of sending them, I don't think I realized just how much times it has just be non-stop profit. I was really focused most on the losses and just be like, damn, how to recover this? How to show them that I'm profitable? Yikes. Um, but okay, yeah, 80 cat. This was a one also sent, like I said, right? Sell 80 card, expecting some more bearish tone with the RBA statement to come. Be careful, however, as price can spike above the stop level using 2% risk, but I suggest using 1% and watch to see how price reacts and manually close out if it starts going in the opposite direction, right? So again, fundamentals, the minutes were coming out. Like I said, this has to do with policy decisions, interest rates, and all of that good stuff that really drives our economy's currency. So we did have okayish numbers, really not bearish, really not too hawkish, was numbers about interest rate decisions. And then we also had the committee vote who voted to either tapering, tightening interest rates, decrease inflation and all of that good stuff, right? That being said, we did also for a couple of weeks now have a lot of bearishness overall on the AD, especially with in terms of lockdowns. And recently they initiated new lockdowns as well. So everything will look in sort of bearish again on the Australian economy. So at that point, again, on the release of those minutes, this was the expected thing to see. Less tensions in holding any AD pairs, more selling overall. Again, compared to the card, the AD is a lot more weaker. So the possibility of it going down and making a move like this was a lot higher than say something like let's see, possibly like AD CHF at that point, right? Which was the 16th. So this was like the move for the 16th right here on ADCHF, right? Not much happened, just like that, right? So the possibility for that sell was a little bit greater on the AD card itself when you compare the cross pairs, right? So boom bam, that played out. That's really nice. 3.4%, 3.5. And I see if we held a little lower, it would have been even better, but such is life, guys. And as you can note, the possibility of price actually going down as well. Notice this little trend channel that we do have, prices going downwards, but we don't really have lower lows, lower highs, something that I like to see in a really nice trending pair, right? Trends are actually very rare when you're trading. Everything looks a little bit more like this, right? A little bit more haphazard. Seeing a nice clear trend while trading happens like 20% of the time. Of the 80% prices looking like this. So you really need to know how to actually watch everything, analyze everything, and all of that. Right? But you guys have me, so no worries. 80 NZD was looking to sell at the high, right? So let's just get back to that 80 NZD right here. Chart this up real quick. Alright, we have two levels. Just try this out. Taking a short position. The entry, put the stop level and the entry price later. Stop level 52.14, right? Take profit level being 04389. 04389, and I guess the entry was somewhere lower. Was it? Actually, I had to try this up correct now. 0531. 0531. Yeah, so something like this. This is correct. Okay, yeah, something like this, right? So this I was looking to actually sell after price spike to the upside, but like you could see what happened, price continued doing that for a little bit. I'm going even higher. I started to remember more clearly. Yes, this was when the whole COVID thing with the New Zealand did happen, right? At that point, I think I underestimated the actual impact it would have had in terms of weakening the NZD, because I didn't take into account from the investing side of everything. Okay, what does this mean for the future prospect of the New Zealand economy, right? So price pushed a little higher on that weakness, right? And this was a temporary move, right? Because as I said, this was a over exaggeration, right? This was just fears and then the market about, whoa, well, if they have one COVID case now, maybe they even have more cases that just aren't reported yet. Maybe tomorrow we wake up and we find out over 400 people have the new Delta variant COVID infection disease, right? So over exaggeration. overall, this move wasn't gonna last. So at that point, was looking to actually short to get some more profits out of the market. I'm not sure if I sent the re-entry here again. Uh, that's what I actually look for. But overall, that was the mentality that I was going with, right? Was looking for a possible re-entry as price pushed to the upside because that move was going to fail. It wasn't going to last. That was just short temporary um, fears hitting the market, right? And that's something why, again, paying attention to fundamentals is good because more than likely, right, what we've been doing, a lot of retail traders, because they see the sudden spike up, they're gonna switch a bias from selling to buying, right? Because that's what they know as a retail, as a technical trader, right, without any other understanding of what really drives the market, you're just gonna look at this move, you're gonna say, wow, at this point, it just twists around, right? Everything looking more bullish. So when price actually retest this area, I can jump in for a buy, going all straight buys and put all my account capital behind buys, right? And as price continues going down, a lot of people and people new to trading, they're just gonna be buying the dip, trying to buy the dip, and they're going to fail because that isn't the move. This was temporary, and understanding that would actually help your trading, right? Being aware of what's happening around you. So continuing, CAD JPY. Let's see. Right, CAD JPY. I remembered. Sent this overall entering with that 1.5% risk with a 36 pip stop loss. Again, I do send the stop loss just so that you could calculate what lot size you're going to use. So like let's say you want to put in $100 risk, overall risk in $100. Then from the stop loss, from the pip stop loss, you'll be able to calculate whether it's like maybe you could enter with a $2.50 risk per pip, or maybe $3 flat. So you know your lot size would be 0.3 or 0.25 or whatever, right? So I just trying to make it easier for you guys. But right, looking to see price continue downwards after the break of the support zone, creating new lows. I like right here, right? I remove my stop loss temporarily on CAD JPY. I was monitoring it, right? As you see, price did come up, right? Did come up away from that zone. We kind of retested these highs right here, and then we got that pushed back downwards. At that point, I believe I did send this re-entry, another entry here at this point, right? As we had that bearish close, this full close, continue looking for that move to continue to the downside, right? Especially when you note this little channel, this trend channel it had here. And as I said, as price breaks that channel, more than likely you're going to have a continuation in whatever direction that is. And as that happened right here, right? More than likely, not all the time. Please note that. And that was the trade. This was 4%, and this was Jesus Christ, 4%, and this was the 4%, and this was 2%. Sorry. Okay, and that was the trade for this. So yeah, if you have, that's great. If not, then I can't fault you. Right, this was the 80 NCD, which part we re-entered again, right? Entered a small sell here, risking 18 pips. Bada bang, bada boom. Again, that happened to be true. Price just clocked down. Yeah, so you see, consistency is key, guys. Right? Yeah, that's the point where price came down here and where we came out for a little bit of profit, right? And then we had that spike right there, and then price kind of continued back to the top here. And so it was on this bearish candle right here that we actually made a little bit of profit on. We have like 8 minutes left on this, right? Yeah, so that when we know that we had that spike up again, price continued. This was a possible buy here on the Euro GBP. So this was a little bit of an early entry, right? So price broke above the resistance level, showing solid support, looking for a continuation higher. Be mindful, however, the resistance seemed to at the last previous recent highs, we're seeing 0.5 a stop of 10 pips, right? So anytime that I do mention like I'm entering like a small risk is because either it's a riskier setup or I'm just looking to see whether price action is going to continue or maybe we might get a shift in market sentiment, right? But at that point, I remember price did come lower, retesting this support area, right? I entered again on this, but I don't think I tried selling it, but I don't think it went through at the point of time when I did try doing that. But price came back into that support zone, sorry, right? We tested it a couple of times before we had a push back up, and you see it pushed along, really breaking past that resistance area strongly to the upside. So at that point, we will likely to see a continuation moving upwards, right? So that was the other trade as well. But this one, I guess, would have been a 0.5% loss for most people if they took the trade. Right, so yeah, stopped out at 0.5%. And the two other trades here. 80 USD and GBP trade. Alright, GBP 80 and 80 USD. That's looking for the divergence setups. Entered low risk again, 0.5%, so a total of a 1% risk. Just because with divergence, there's a few things that you should know. Having proper risk management with divergence is key, right? So we did try to take it somewhere around here. I believe when price came into this area, we got a spike up, but I see price continue moving lower. And same thing for the GBP 81, right? Was somewhere around here, but price continued spiking even higher up again, right? So in divergence, I really like to enter them more low risk unless I'm pretty confident that I see other confluences with that divergence setup, then I'll enter either for a full 1% risk or maybe a 2% risk, right? But again, we had quite a few wins, so the low losses was mitigated, right? I'm trying to push through, right? This was GP80. Right. So we had a spike down, but price then maintained that, and it continued moving up a little bit afterwards, right? The spike down would have been this right here. Yeah, this right here, somewhere right there. Right. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but I never claim to win 100% of my trades, right? But overall, we were profitable thus far. Same thing for the 80 USD, right? Price spiked in that area, price spiked up. At that point, I was saying like, okay, more, well, maybe we'll see a continuation of the move. Again, my hopes too high. At that point, look to secure some profits. So either try and lower stop loss, at least watch the spike itself to see whether price closes bullish on it, or maybe it retraces all the way back down. And it retraced it did. So right. Yeah, it came out a little bit of profit. If not, break even for the most. Right, good opportunity to buy, seeing that we got some news release. I'm overall bearish on the AD. But looking at the overextension, can probably get some pullbacks in its favor. Right, overall, fundamentally was bearish. As you see, we did continue that bearish move as price pushed higher and as price pushed lower on AD USD. But again, looking at the technical side, we did have that overextension of price continuing to the downside. So looking for retracements wasn't a bad move, but this is just where the fundamentals outwin the technicals, right? And again, looking at something like this, if you're just purely a technical trader, you're gonna be like, what the fuck, right? You're trying to understand why this so bearish. Unless you know some things with fundamental analysis, then you wouldn't understand why it got that move to the downside, right? And that will really help your trading, help prevent losses, or at least help you develop a bias. Well, okay, maybe if I do get a break lower, I could enter for a sell, short term or long term, what it is I'm planning to do. Right, and we did have a couple other trades, more wins than losses as well. And the last two trades being the Euro and Euro JPY on another trade. I can't remember. I'll actually look it up. But yeah, that's it. We only have like 2 minutes on this call. Zoom not getting me to pay for anything. So hopefully this was informative. Hopefully you guys got some information out of this. You understand a little bit more about how important fundamentals is when it comes to actually trading, right? It's one thing to know price action, is another to know what drives it, right? So really, in my opinion, knowing what drives price action, it could be very beneficial in developing your overall trading plan, right? Keep you from making silly mistakes, being the retail trader that's always caught on the opposite side of the fence, that's losing, blowing their account rather than actually being profitable. So yeah, hope you guys found this informative. If you have any questions, feel free to ask now or forever hold a peace, or you could just message me on WhatsApp and we could just get on a later date about anything that you might have missed in this. This is also recorded, so I would post it up so you could rewatch it as well if you choose to. All right, any questions? Everybody good? What's up? What's up? All right, I'm just gonna assume everybody good. All right, so I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend and see you guys next week. Hopefully more profits, more money to be made. I think I may stay away from the charts a little bit, but we'll see. We'll see just how things go. All right, guys, so peace.